Alright everyone, Mr. JKL here with another Vintage Cube draft. Finally opening some power. We have a Mox Jet, which we will take. If the Mox Jet wasn't here, probably would take Teferi, Miscalc, Riftwing, Cloudscape, one of those three. It's pretty close, probably would have taken Teferi. I think Teferi is quite good. But we'll start with a Mox Jet and go from there. Alright, gonna follow up a Mox Jet with a Reanimate. I think it's the best card to follow up Mox Jet with. It's one of the best cards in the pack, and it keeps us in our color. Although Mox Jet will go in any deck, like Big Teferi a lot too if we'd taken Small Teferi. Could have taken Big Teferi, but really happy to follow up a Mox Jet with a Reanimate. Now we want to wheel this Thirst for Knowledge or Baleful Strix or Toxic Deluge. Those are all great cards in the Reanimator deck. And there's an Exhume. I think we just want to take the Exhume over the Dimir Signet. I mean, obviously Signets are good, but in Reanimator decks, you don't need that much mana, so the Signets become less good, and you want to have the reanimation spells and the discard spells and all of that. So gonna take the Exhume here and see what happens next. Alright, I love a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is protection from BS. Sometimes they can still draw out of it, but I always love to have a Thoughtseize in our deck. And our mono black deck looks quite strong so far. So we'll take Thoughtseize. Passing up on a Mox Diamond, unfortunately, but gotta take the Thoughtseize here. Alright, there's a Massacre Worm, which is okay, but I don't love too much. I would definitely play Massacre Worm. It's definitely better, definitely. It's better as a sideboard card, but it can sneak its way into the main deck. I'll take Night's Whisper. It's a good draw 2 spell in our mono black deck. Now I'm going to take Imperial Seal. Things are going all according to plan. Imperial Seal is a little slow, but the ability to seal for Reanimate, Entomb, Exhume, something like that is very powerful. And, you know, with like Mox Jet and Night's Whisper, we can do some very strong things. Definitely like this start. Now here's one of the best Reanimator targets, Iona. Against monocolor decks, obviously it's lights out. And even against two-color decks, you can usually name the thing that can't deal with permanents as easily, and a 7/7 flyer is quite good. So we'll slide the Iona into our deck. Now we can take Nighthawk Scavenger just as a hedge against aggro decks, or Unburial Rites if we find our way into white. I think I'm going to take Unburial Rites. It's actually a pretty good combo with Entomb, because you can Entomb the Unburial Rites and then Unburial Rites whatever you have. So we'll take the Unburial Rites and maybe pick up a few white dual lands. So we're back to our original pack. There wasn't anything that we really wanted to wheel, and nothing came back, obviously. I'll take Rift. It's either Karn or Riftwing. Karn does not seem like the way this deck is going, but neither does Riftwing. Baneslayer against aggro is interesting. I might just take Baneslayer against aggro decks. If we end up playing white, I don't see myself playing any of these cards. Riftwing. I guess Riftwing. Riftwing is the most likely to be played. Because if we end up picking up some good blue-black dual lands, I could see playing a Riftwing. It's just a decent way to interact with the opponent, especially if we get Recurring Nightmare would be the card that we would want. But I like our start a lot. Oh, there's a Thirst for Knowledge. That is a fantastic way to discard some cards. So we'll put Thirst for Knowledge in our deck. That makes us more likely to play this Riftwing. Obviously, the best color to pair with black for Reanimator is blue, because it has cards like Thirst for Knowledge, which allow you to put cards into your graveyard that you want. Right now we only have one card to put into our graveyard, and Iona, but we can probably pick up some more. And Iona is one of the best to do that with. So here's another one, Frost Titan. Obviously it's not the best Reanimator target, but there wasn't anything else in the pack. So we'll take Frost DT. Look at him go. He's got this big Frost Axe in his hand, and two hair things that could be horns or not. It's interesting to sometimes look at the art. You never notice things that the older art is a little bit more gruesome. Reanimate certainly follows that. Thoughtseize, yeah, pretty gruesome. I guess Thoughtseize, the art isn't quite that old. All right, so what are we looking for now? Last few packs I don't think are going to have much for us, and then I think we just want to fill out our deck with all the solid reanimator pieces. Jace Vryn's Prodigy is good. Looteriel Core, Una's Prowler as ways to get things into our graveyard, and then we want, I mean, a Dark Ritual would be fine, also to accelerate out, and then obviously we want Entomb and some other things. We'll play Makeshift Mannequin. That's another reanimator spell. There's the Massacre Worm, found its way back. I actually like that more than Frost Titan. Usually they can find a way to deal with a Frost Titan, but Massacre Worm can do some damage on the way in, so even if it goes out, it's done its job. Pyroclasm, not that great. Mastermind's Acquisition rarely sees play, sometimes in Storm. Alright, going into pack 2, and we have not much for us. The best card in the pack is Oko. But unfortunately, we're a little far away from an Oko deck. Probably just going to take Shieldred. It is a strong card, and we are certain it's one of the only black cards we can take. The other pick would be Hallowed Fountain, which we could take under the assumption that Shieldred will wheel. I don't really anticipate anyone taking Shieldred. It's fine, but not super strong. So I guess we can probably take Hallowed Fountain. And that allows us to splash the white of Unburial Rites and maybe some other white cards. Yeah, just Shieldred's like good, but it's not as good as just taking a land. All right, gotta take Entomb here. Could wheel, could not, but I don't really care. Entomb is definitely what we want for this deck, so we'll take an Entomb. Hopefully wheel him to Turok, or Strip Mine maybe, or Time Twister. I don't even know if this deck would play a Time Twister, but it will play an Entomb, certainly. So now we've got... Oh, gonna put the Exhume in the right column. Now we've got Entomb and Reanimate, which are the two best reanimation spells. Can look for an Animate Dead. That one's not far behind. And then, like, Vampiric Tutor, I guess, would be good. Imperial Seal is the poor man's Vampiric Tutor, but it's still good. Demonic Tutor is obviously the best tutor. What else are we looking for? I guess we'll have to find out. We'll hopefully wheel the Shieldred. I still think it's right to just take a flyer on the, or take a flyer on the Hallowed Fountain. If we pick up a fetch land or two, it'll make the deck, and potentially splash or flashback the Unburial Rites, which I think will be good. Well, there we go. There's our Demonic Tutor. If we just call for the cards, I guess we get them. Passing up on Bloodstained Mire, which would be a good fetch land if we pick up a dual land, but we don't have one yet. And Shelldock Isle, which would have been the pick instead. Shelldock's great, and it's super good in a deck that's playing big creatures like Iona and ways to mill quickly. But gotta take Demonic Tutor. Demonic Tutor is awesome. So let's do it. And maybe we will wheel a Shelldock Isle. Sometimes people don't realize that Shelldock is pretty much a busted card. You get to put a card, usually worth 5 or 6 mana, under it, and later in the game you get to play it for free. It's a land that can cast a spell that's a lot of mana for only 2 mana. It's so good. Shelldock Isle is incredible. And people do not take it highly enough. Alright, Opposition Agent's not actually that good. Smuggler's Copter, but we have 3 creatures and they're all big. Doesn't seem great. I like Treachery a lot and I like Ashiok. Treachery is pretty expensive. Good against us. I think I'm going to take Ashiok. Ashiok is just great. We have a Mox, so turn 2 Ashiok is just a huge game. And it can quickly run away with it, putting stuff from your opponent's deck into play. I think I'm going to take Ashiok. Really like the way that this deck is going. I think a blue-black duel would be amazing. A Gristlebrand, and then we're basically made. Riftwing could make it right now. It seems pretty decent. So yeah, we don't. Yeah, I mean, and Shieldred could wheel, but we'll find some reanimation targets. There's an Impulse and a Gonti. Which one do we want more? Gonti is just good all around, and Impulse makes our deck more consistent. I think we'll take Impulse. Impulsing into one of our pieces that we need is pretty good. There's also Bazaar of Baghdad. And with like Mox Jet, that's quite good. I like Bazaar a lot. I think I'll take Impulse, hoping to wheel Bazaar. Yes, I think that's probably right. Um, Or do we want to just take Bazaar of Baghdad? Let's take Impulse. I don't know about the Bazaar. Alright, Rotting Regisaur. That's another way to discard some stuff. We were a little low on discard outlets. Still need to pick up some bigger things. Nothing here that we would want. So, take Rotting Regisaur. And so you have Thirst for Knowledge, Rotting Regisaur, and then Entomb, which is obviously great. What do we have here? Nothing. Oh, we have an Elish Norn. Elish Norn is fine. It's not incredible, especially if we're not playing that many creatures. But I guess it's probably better than Metamorph. Yeah, we'll take Elish Norn. It's also like Massacre Worm, although not as good. It doesn't attack for as much, and it doesn't get the damage triggers from the Massacre Worm. So, alright, so now we have 3 fatties to reanimate. Would like to pick up a few cheaper creatures, I think. Haven't really seen them. Do we want a Darkslick Shores or Gitaxian Probe? I think this deck wants Gitaxian Probe just to know what's up with our opponent, if we want to go for a Reanimator thing or not. I mean, Darkslick Shores would certainly make the deck, but it's not as important as one of the dual lands, so I think we'll take Probe. Knowing whether you want to go for a high velocity play is very important with a Reanimator deck, which makes Probe a lot more important. It's like when you're playing Infect, and before Probe was banned, and you could look at your opponent's hand and know they don't have a removal spell, and then you just win the game. That's why Probe is kind of stupid. We'll take Shieldred now. Oh, and we wield the Hymn to Turok, which we'll take. Now there's a Ravenous Chupacabra or Kaya. Which card is more likely to... I think Kaya. We have the Hallowed Fountain for Kaya. I'll just take Chupacabra. Ooh, Opposition Agent or Agadeem's Awakening. This deck, Agadeem's Awakening is not going to make the deck, so perhaps... Ooh, there's the Bazaar. There's also the Gonti. I think now we can take Bazaar of Baghdad. Bazaar is really a spell, but it's a pretty good spell. It makes you miss a land drop, but it does a powerful thing. Hero's Downfall for the sideboard. Could be that we don't play blue. I don't know about this Cloudskate. Impulse is interesting. Right now, our black cards are so strong. Mannequin's not all that good. Alright, so there's Vampiric Tutor, like we were talking about before. That'll be another good way to leverage our cheap, fast starts. So, again, Mox is awesome with Vampiric Tutor and stuff like that. Because you can potentially go off on turn 2, Entomb, or even turn 1. Land, Entomb, Iona, Reanimate is a great play. Okay, we'll take Vampiric Tutor. Hoping to wheel basically nothing. The card we'd come closest to play is Shriekmaw. Okay. Now there's a Creeping Tar Pit, Una's Prowler, Inquisition of Kozilek. I like Inquisition a lot. At this point, I'm not even sure about if we want to play blue or not. If the Tar Pit wheels, we'll probably take it, but I think Inquisition is good. Having Inquisition and Thoughtseize just means that we can stop our opponent, disrupt them and him, disrupt our opponent, and then just drop an Iona and win the game. So we'll take Inquisition. Now there's a Library of Alexandria seems really good. Taking it over nothing else, basically. I think people are a little bit too low on Library. Library is a super strong card. So we'll take Library of Alexandria. If it's in your opening hand, it's just so good. Passing up on a Glenalendra Archmage, Living Death, some other things that we're not going to play. Ooh, now there's an Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb seems really good too, although we do have a lot of black in our spells. Maybe Ancient Tomb's actually not that good now that I look at what we would be wanting to cast. Um, just because all of our spells are black spells, so and our curve stops at 3, so yeah, Ancient Tomb actually doesn't seem that great. Usually like Ancient Tomb a lot. Thief of Sanity, if we're gonna play blue, is a really good card. Yeah, I don't see anything else that we would want. Phyrexian Rager, not gonna cut it. Ooh, I like Balance just as a card. Balance is really, really strong. I like Collective Brutality a lot, and I like the Looter. I think Collective Brutality is a little bit stronger. It's another way to steal something from our opponent's hand. So we'll take Collective Brutality. Maybe Wheel of Dragonlord Atarka would probably play that. Now there is Cabal Ritual, and then a bunch of nothingness, Corpse Dance, but this is not a Corpse Dance deck. And then there's Renin 6, Cabal Ritual. What does Cabal Ritual do for us? Nothing really. I guess it could maybe do some things at some point, but not sure about that. Chrome Mox, Dark Confidant, or Yawgmoth's Will. Yawgmoth's Will, don't really think this is a Yawg Will deck. This is a Chrome Mox deck, though. It's really good with Library, and it's really good if you can just ramp out one of your good plays. So we'll take Chrome Mox. Ooh, can we take Dark Ritual now? What are we ritualing out? Turn 1 Regisaur. I think Dark Ritual is probably pretty good in this deck. It just allows us to be so fast, yeah. With Bazaar and stuff like that. Dark Ritual actually seems really good. Okay, now we're wheeling the Shriekmaw. We hope to, but probably not going to play. So we'll put that in the sideboard. Una's Prowler is another discard outlet. We'll probably play that. Okay. And so how are we looking here? Probably not going to play the Hallowed Fountain because we're not going to play on Burial Rites. It's just a little too expensive. Oh, though we do have, and we don't have any way to fetch the Hallowed Fountain, so that's a little bit worse. Living Death, Bolas's Citadel. We have Dark Ritual to ramp out a Bolas's Citadel, but I think it's still a little too expensive. Living Death against creature decks could be a sideboard option. Not against that. Phyrexian Rager or Tendrils. Probably just Phyrexian Rager. Any Dragonlord Atarkas. I mean, we have some decent targets. Iona's obviously the best. But we'd play a Dragonlord Atarka. Do we even want to play, like, Impulse? Probably. Bazaar is really a spell, so we might need to cut a spell or two. I mean, we can probably play 15 or 16 lands. We just have so much cheap stuff to do. I'm thinking like 15 lands and a Mox. Yeah, because Chrome Mox needs spells more than lands. Ooh, there's also Looter. Okay. I think I have enough ways to get things into the graveyard that we just want one more fatty. Yeah. Corpse Dance, not going to play that. Renin 6 going all the way around. So, yeah, and we have a lot of ways to... We just wanted one more thing. I think the five fatties is good enough. We probably can cut one of them. I don't like Elesh Norn that much. Yeah. Because with not very many creatures, Elesh Norn doesn't do the thing that you want it to do. I think Dragonlord's actually a little bit better. Okay, so this is 25, 24. Okay, so this is a spell, really. So that leaves us at 25 spells. This is a land, though, so... Alright. Do we want to play blue for an Impulse? A Thirst for Knowledge, an Ashiok, Thief of Sanity. I don't really want to play Impulse. I think Thief is really good. Thirst is way better than Impulse. Although Impulse lets us find our pieces. I wonder if we're just better not playing any of the blue cards. That allows our mana to be much better, obviously. Then we can play that, and is this better? So we're losing out on Ashiok, Thirst, Thief to get all black spells. What can we put in? We have Hero's Downfall. We have Makeshift Mannequin. Unburial Rites. Shriekmaw. I don't hate Shriekmaw just as a way to interact with our opponent's creatures. It's not a terrible card. This is 21 spells. You can also put back. We have Opposition Agent, which I don't hate. And a Chupacabra. Okay. So if we're not playing blue, there's also the Riftwing. Alright. What do we want to do here? So we can put in the 4 fatties. Is that enough? I think it's enough. Let's put in Shriekmaw and Opposition Agent, and then Makeshift Mannequin and Hero's Downfall. 25, 24, 23. Do we want one more card? Our deck is, and we have I think we want one more. Do we want an Unburial Rites? Probably not. Living Death? We do have a lot of I actually think Living Death, this could be a Living Death deck. So it's a Pseudo Wrath, which I think is actually good. I'm going to try Living Death out in this deck and see how it is. And we can sideboard into the blue, but let's start out with this. So none of those. 9, 10, 11. And add one more land. 12. Okay, so we got a library, a bazaar, so that's another spell. So we have 14, 15, 16 lands, plus a probe. I think that's probably good. So we'll stop here. This will be our deck. We'll save it, and we'll see you for round 1. Round 1 on the draw. There's a keepable hand. What are we going to do here? We can Demonic Tutor for one of our fatties or something. Alright, turn 1 we can, if we DT for a fatty, then we can Thoughtseize ourselves. Let's get Iona with Demonic Tutor. And then go from there. Alright. Turn 2, if they play another island, blue-white. Alright, so we can Thoughtseize ourselves, and then Exhume. Do we just want to do that? Or Thoughtseize them? Or hold up Opposition Agent? I think I'm going to hold up Opposition Agent. And hold on. And see what they do. Don't think we need to go that quickly. Because if we draw a discard outlet, we'd like to just discard Iona and Thoughtseize them. Potentially they'll do something that the Opposition Agent is good against. Is there a blue-white deck? Which is bad because blue and white can kill Iona. All right. Do you want to Thoughtseize them? Let's start by hymning them. See where that goes. Demonic Tutor and Sword of Body and Mind. Okay. I think we just Thoughtseize them now. I just have no idea what's going on in their deck. Snapcaster, Balance, Phyrexian Metamorph. So yeah, going for Iona was questionable. I guess we take next turn they can Snapcaster, Balance. Is that even good? Metamorphing. I think we just take Balance. They have Metamorph and Snapcaster. Okay. Let's see what they do now. It could balance and get us to discard our Iona. Snapcaster balance. That doesn't seem that good. They might just... What are they going to do? Oh, a mentor? Alright. Alright, so now we just need a way to entomb. Alright, so we can entomb our... What's best here? Our Shieldred? Yeah, Shieldred has to be great here. Because it... Well, then they can metamorph our Shieldred? Is that good for them? Okay, so they'll lose that. What does Shieldred say? Return target creature card from your graveyard. Each that player sacrifices a creature. So this is very interesting because they have metamorph. So we get Dragon Lord. Snapcaster DT. They don't have Blackett to do that. Alright, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. We could get Rotting Regisaur. And then exhume the Regisaur, and the next turn bring in the Iona. That's actually interesting. Because the Rotting Regisaur is pretty beefy. And the problem is if we get Shieldred, then, or like Dragon Lord Atarka, let's say, then, oh, they can't Snapcaster DT because we have Opposition Agent. So that's something we don't have to worry about. Right, anything that we get, they can metamorph. So if we get Shieldred, then we exhume Shieldred, then they lose their mentor. Or actually, they lose their Snapcaster. They have a mentor and a metamorph. They play metamorph, copying Shieldred. We have to sacrifice Opposition Agent. And we don't get anything back. And then next turn, they sacrifice their mentor. And they get something. No, so that doesn't work. So we don't want to get Shieldred. So I think we just get Rotting Regisaur, actually. As weird as that may seem. And we exhume Rotting Regisaur. What a weird play. Do we attack with Opposition Agent? I don't think so. It prevents them from snap DTing. Actually, I think we do. I think we're fine trading it for Mentor. Then we just get a beefy Rotting Regisaur on the board. Oh, they can trade Snapchat. Yeah, I guess that's fine because then they're giving up the Snapcaster equity. I think that's actually fine. Okay, so now they have a metamorph. If they copy, oh, Creeping Tar Pit. Yeah, so they would have been able to Snapcaster DT. All right. So they're gonna metamorph our Regisaur, I believe. Gotta pay the life somehow. Yeah. All right. Alright, so now we get to discard our Iona. Draw a swamp. Now we attack. They have to block. Yep. And then we Makeshift Mannequin our Iona. I think we name blue. Let's just name blue. It's either blue or white. The problem is if they have a mind control spell, that's way worse than if they just have a removal spell. Oh, Stoneforge Mystic. Can they get Batterskull? I guess we should have named white. Now they have Batterskull. I guess that's too slow. Shieldred. Okay. We can't cast Shieldred. So now we attack. And can they cast Batterskull and then equip? I don't think so. So I think they're just dead. Right, because, well, they can put it into play for 2. Can they equip it? How much? 1, 2, 3, 4. How much does the equip cost? It's 5. So they are dead. Awesome. All right. Inquisition, Swamp. All right. This does not look like the matchup for Living Death, so we'll bring that one out. Could our blue cards be good here? I actually think our blue cards are probably pretty good here. So here's where we can take out some of the stuff. Hero's Downfall's a little bit slow. Shriekmaw. We have all these. Okay, so Ashiok Thief I like. And Thirst for Knowledge. So we had those. We want to play like 4 islands. Probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 40, 14, 15, 16. I think this is probably good. So let's submit this. Something like that. And for game 2, we will hope to... Okay, I think this is probably a keepable hand. It needs some help. We have turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Una's Prowler, discarding a Tarka, so some stuff going on. They have turn 1 Ancient Tomb into Black Lotus. Pretty fair start from them. And what are they going to play with their 5 mana? Hopefully nothing too good. Well, they played those cards pretty quickly, but now they're taking a second to think about what they want to play. Okay, they've passed the turn. We will Thoughtseize them and take their good cards. We'll take their Monastery Mentor, leaving them with a Spirit of Labyrinth and Balance. Sure. Could have taken Balance, but Mentor might do some work. Maybe we should have just taken Balance, I guess. I don't know. I feel like them casting Balance and us discarding some cards is probably fine. Spirit of Labyrinth, sure. Ooh, there's our Ashiok. So maybe if they just want us to discard down to some cards, that could be bad. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that maybe just taking the Mentor was the better play, but Balance and Mentor don't actually work that well together. Well, if they're not gonna... They can just discard... They could literally put us down to 0 cards. Although, I mean, I don't know if that's that terrible for us. Obviously, we could just draw nothing, but we also have a bunch of Reanimator spells. Yeah, so they're going to discard all their cards, cast Balance. Sure. And we will discard all the cards in our hand. And now it's a top deck war, but they have a little bit more mana. Well, Hymn to Turok is not going to do it. Alrighty. They're going to attack for 3. Play nothing. Alright, Iona. Not going to do it either. I'll probably discard Iona on their turn. They are at 9. Seems like they should be able to cast any of the spells they draw, so hopefully they draw a bunch of lands. Here is a spell. Tapping Ancient Tomb for it. Alright. Discard Iona. We draw Thirst for Knowledge, yep. This is a game that was mostly my fault. I probably misplayed this game. Now they can attack for 6 and we lose the race by 1. Maybe they'll tap their Ancient Tomb. You never know. Or we'll draw Exhume. Legion's Landing for a 1/1. Interesting. And a Thirst for Knowledge. Sure, we'll cast that. And that's right, Legion's Landing. Okay. Or Spirit of Labyrinth. Sure. Alright, so on to game 3. Gotta remember to take Balance this time. Balance is quite a good card. But I like where we're at, and we'll submit the deck. Elish Norn against all their tokens actually does seem kind of good. But, oh well. Alright. Turn 1 Bazaar. I actually kind of like this hand. Turn 1 Bazaar, and then turn 2, we don't have to Bazaar just yet. We can play a land and then Dark Ritual, DT for something. I actually think I'm going to name white now. Okay, so draw. It's pretty bad, so we'll discard Iona and Regisaur or Thirst. And Regisaur, that's right. Okay. Alright, so there's our Reanimate. So we just need to, in our next 2 cards, we need to draw a swamp. Alright, there's our swamp. Let's discard Night's Whisper. So Dark Ritual. Oh, we can hymn them also. So Night's Whisper and Ashiok. Okay. Oh, and then one more. I think just Demonic Tutor because we also have Exhume. Okay, so now land, Dark Ritual, and then reanimate our Iona. And then let's name white, and then hymn them. Okay. And pass the turn. And they had Relic. Wow. Relic just a little bit too slow. They're going to exile everything. Alright. We draw Library. Well, Library's not going to do much here. Black. Do they have a removal spell? Ophiomancer? Alright, they have one more turn to draw something. Let's look at their hand. Agadeem's, so they have 3 white cards and that. So they're dead unless they draw something. I guess we don't play the land. So we could have actually Bazaar'd there, right? And probably going to concede. Yeah. Okay. So the Bazaar Bazaar actually carried there, and so did Dark Ritual. I guess him just discarded some of their crap. We were able to beat the Relic of Progenitus. Cool. So that was round 1. I'll see everyone for round 2. Round 2, let's see what we got. Looks like we got a keeper. Not sure about turn 1 Bazaar. Turn 1 Swamp. Turn 2 Collective Brutality, discarding Iona. Turn 3 DT for something. Let's draw Thoughtseize. Okay. Alright, turn 2 Collective Brutality is going to be pretty good against a blue deck. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully they're mono blue and Iona just hoses them. We'll have to see. They're going to ponder Keranos red. Well, if they're playing Keranos, which isn't in the cube, they would be blue-red. Did they ponder and miss and then shuffle? Let's see. The game log reveals not to shuffle, and they drew a Tolarian Academy, which they can't use it. Okay. Well, now, let's Collective Brutality. 2 modes. Cast. Target opponent. And discard Iona. Okay, so that leaves them with Revoker, Sundering Titan, Workshop, and Island. Alright. Now, next turn, we get to DT for Reanimate. Name blue on Iona, and that should basically lock things up. Sundering Titan, so they can Revoker on something? Maybe? So they have 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they're close to casting Sundering Titan. But not there yet. Alright, so Revoker. Naming. What in the world did they name? They could name Bazaar of Baghdad, that's for sure. But I don't know what else they would name. And let's see. I think Bazaar of Baghdad would probably be the right name. But that's probably hard to come to. So we will see. So we get to DT for a little reanimator action. Lose a bunch of life. 1, 2. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, and then they're still a little ways away from Sundering Titan. Okay, so things should be pretty good here. They're taking their sweet time to name something with Revoker. It's kind of a crapshoot, so you just have to name something opponent. We could tell them to name something. What should they name? We'll leave them be for now. We don't want to antagonize the opponent. They name Abattoir Ghoul. Alright, well, they took a while, and they came to the conclusion that Abattoir Ghoul was the card that they wanted to name. That's A-okay with our opponent. Whatever they want to do. Where's our Reanimate? There it is. Reanimate and Iona, and name Blue. Go to 13, and pass the turn. Next turn, they play a land, and we get to hymn their last 2 cards. So, well, I guess, hymn 2 out of their last 3 cards. And they don't give us the chance, they concede. Alright, this mono blue artifact deck, some cards we have looking a little bit sketchy, like Living Death, Hero's Downfall. Maybe we don't want to start with them in the deck, Shriek Maw, but we do have some cards we can put in their places. We have Ashiok, Thief of Sanity, Thirst for Knowledge, Mannequin, looking not so hot. What would we want in its place? There's Riftwing. I don't really like Riftwing. Seems not super great here. We can leave in a Makeshift Mannequin's just really slow. We have a bunch of ways to search. Okay, so 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we want 4 islands. Alright. 39, so we gotta put in 1 more card. We could put in a Frost Titan. Nah. Cabal Ritual. Just as a way to ritual out something. There's the option of Winter Orb. Does not seem great. So there's some sort of... Ooh, they might have Tinker, in which case Opposition Agent is good. What is our last card we want to put in? Probably just Shriek Maw. Can kill some of their creatures. Seems alright. Can kill like a Revoker or whatever. Is never too terrible. Alright. So our opponent is probably going to play first again. Haven't seen Mox in a little bit. Ooh, I like this hand. Get to turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Collective Brutality. And all we have to do is draw a tutor for our Reanimator spell, and we're looking pretty. So, is our opponent going to lead on turn 1 Workshop? Because that's an explosive start. Turn 1 Black Lotus, that's pretty good. All our opponents have known how to... turn 1 Lodestone, wow. Alright, we have a hard battle ahead of us. Island. They'll hit us here. Okay, so I guess we are Thoughtseizing them. Taking nothing. They have absolutely nothing left. Alright. Next turn we'll Collective Brutality, discarding Iona. Oh, and classic Thoughtseize into a draw. Alright. So we know this is not good. So cast with 2 modes. And, I mean, oh. So we want, and, yeah. And then 1, 2, 3, discard our Iona. Alright, they have 3 islands. Go to 10. Next turn, we have to draw a reanimation spell next turn, or we are dead to the turn 1 Lodestone Golem, which I have to admit is quite a strong start. Alright, so we draw an island. Yeah. We will Thirst and concede the game. Alright, a fast 2 games, so let's go to game 3. No changes. Is... now that I think about it, is Shriek Maw non-artifact? Yeah, it is non-artifact. Alright, let's take that out and put in, maybe just impulse to find our last piece. Yeah, impulse can't be too bad. All right. What do we have here? So we can Imperial Seal for one of our reanimation spells, and then on turn, if we draw land, this hand is pretty slow. So in turn 1, Imperial Seal for reanimate. Turn 2, land, pass. Turn 3, end of turn, thirst for knowledge. Hopefully, we can Imperial Seal for Bazaar of Baghdad. We need to draw a reanimation spell. If they have a fast hand, this hand is not going to. I think this is a mulligan. Ooh, ugh. If these were, I think we keep this if one of these was black, obviously, but I think this is another mulligan. All right, this hand I think does some stuff. We'll keep this hand. Put back Chrome Mox and a land. Or Una's Prowler. Yeah, I think. And then we just turn 1 Bazaar. And, well, we could have drawn Thoughtseize? I don't know. Ponder, alright. We just need to draw an Iona. So we're drawing 2, then discarding 3. Land. And one other big fatty, hopefully. Alright, let's see what we draw. There's Iona and Shieldred. I like that. Alright. I think we just... Do we just get the Iona, or do we get Shieldred? If they have a removal spell, that's pretty bad for us. Alright, so let's exhume. What do we want to get? Shieldred. I don't think they have a way to deal with a Shieldred, so we'll get Shieldred. If they kill the Shieldred, I'm gonna be pretty sad. I guess they have Black Lotus as an explosive way, but otherwise we get back Iona, and then it's game over. Mishra's Workshop into Solemn. Okay. Land. Alright, so now they can't cast blue spells. We get to hymn them for 2. And attack. They're just gonna block. Whatever, we'll attack anyways. Alrighty. We can Vampiric Tutor on our upkeep. And then Bazaar. Okay, so I like that. Oh, and they conceded the match. We're going to Vampiric Tutor for a creature that we wanted to put into the graveyard to return with Shieldred. Or Massacre Worm, or whatever. Alright, there is round 2. Some fast games. This deck tends to have fast games. So we'll see you for the finals, where hopefully we can have some more turn 2 or turn 3 Ionas. In the finals, I like this hand a lot. We're on the draw, unfortunately, but we do have a good hand, so I guess that makes up for it. Island pass. Alright. So now we can library. So let's get Taxi and probe them first. See what they're up to. What did they keep? So it's Strip Mine, Plains, Workshop. Okay. Well, now I know not to Collective Brutality. Alright, what do we want to do here? Strip Mine, Plains. Okay, so we can library to draw a card. Then they'll just Strip Mine our library. Is that worth it? Or we can just play a Swamp. I think we just still play library. and then pass the turn. They're going to strip mine us, which I think is fine, actually. Yep. Draw a card. All right. And we draw a land. I think we just vamp for another land. We vamp for a land, then yeah, I think we're just gonna vamp for a land now. Ooh, Chromox is probably just worse than a land. Bazaar of Baghdad. Is that good? No, I think it just vamp for a land. Alright. Pass the turn. Guess they'll go plains. And pass the turn. Now we can play a swamp. And then we could DT for our fatty. Let's just play the Una's Prowler now. Pass the turn. And what is going on here? I just have no idea what they're up to. Alright. If we draw a land. Alright, so now we can Demonic Tutor for Iona. Now we attack. Alright, then discard the Iona. And reanimate it. And I think we're going to name white. They seem like much more of a white deck than a blue deck. So let's name white and pass the turn. We're at 7, but we do have an Iona on the battlefield. Next turn we can Collective Brutality them. Blue and white. Is it an artifact? Karn. Alright. We will put a plains into their hand. Alright. I'm just going to attack them. I don't really care about Karn. We could also just Hero's Downfall. So let's Dark Ritual. Hero's Downfall. The Karn. And then Collective Brutality. And let's just... So 9. And then 9 is 18. So we don't really care about the clock. 14, 15, 16. So let's attack first. Are they going to discard a card? Okay, so 7. So now we can just Collective Brutality them and look at their hand. They have Ravages of War and Solemn and then a bunch of nothing. And pass the turn. Alright, so now that was game 1, unless they... I don't really know what they could draw to get out of this. Cool. Go on to game 2. So there's some sort of mono-white land destruction deck, which is not exactly that good against our deck, especially when we have cards like Dark Ritual. So for game 2, I like all of this. Living Death seems a little slow. Shriekmaw could be good. I don't actually think we need the blue cards here, but maybe they're just good. Yeah, the blue cards are probably just good. So let's cut those 3 for 1, 2, 3. Add our 4 islands. I mean, there is a cost, like we saw that when we mulliganed in the other game, to drawing the islands, but I think here it's probably fine again to... Oh, we put in Riftwing. We meant to put in Thirst for Knowledge, and we have time to do that. Cool. Alright, so let us see if our opponent is going to keep another all-land hand. Can't say that I dislike it. Ooh, this is a really, really good hand. We get to go turn 1 Una's Prowler. We'll turn 1 Probe, just to see what our opponent's dealing with. And pass the turn. Okay, so we have an Exhume. Alright, so let's pay. So they've got Parallax Wave, Ravages, Solemn, Sword. So another slow hand. Sword is their 3-drop, then Solemn, Ravages, Parallax Wave. Okay. Okay, there's an Exhume. So we just name white again. So we can turn 1 Una's Prowler. They can put a Solemn into play. So do we even play the Una's Prowler? I guess not. Because now we can just Entomb and then Exhume. And yeah. Alright. I guess I'm cool with this. So turn 2. Play a Plains. End of turn, we'll Entomb. They're probably not going to be pleased about this. It may prompt a concession, so let's click the Iona. End turn. Play an island, and cast Exhume. And bring in the Iona, and name white. Alright, let's see if they can deal with an Iona. Turn 3, they get to play a sword. We'll play a Thief of Sanity. And then after that, they can play nothing because they conceded the game. Alright, that was a trophy speedrun. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you for the next draft.